I'm back, everyone. The iPhone 13 just came out, so let's go and compare it against the iPhone 7 Plus and see which specific iPhone you should pick up, or even if the 7 Plus is worth going from the iPhone 13. You know what I mean. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely see there are some slight differences. The iPhone 13 is a much smaller phone than the iPhone 7 Plus, even though you have a bigger display on the iPhone 13. You have a 6.1-inch OLED panel here, higher resolution than the 1080p 5.5-inch IPS panel on the iPhone 7 Plus. Is it a crazy big difference? To be honest, yes. I mean, when you look at both these phones, look at the amount of bezel on the 7 Plus. The panel itself is actually pretty decent, but the bezel and just the home button and everything, I mean, it's a super old design. The iPhone 13 looks very modern because it is a very modern phone. The 7 Plus, on the other hand, is definitely an older looking phone without a doubt. Now, in terms of the thinness and thickness, the 7 Plus is actually a thinner phone, and you can tell. I mean, that thing is a pretty thin phone. I'm pretty surprised how thin the 7 Plus is. The volume button, ringer switch are pretty much at the same side as well. And on the back, you have the aluminum back on the iPhone 7 Plus, where in the iPhone 13, you actually had a glass back. Now, both of them look pretty good. Like, I don't have a preference really, but the 13 definitely with the glass back feels much more premium. And that is one thing I love about the 13. It's a very premium feeling phone that I love. You have dual camera setups on both, which is very interesting, but they are a little different. Ultra wide sensor here, telephoto lens here, and that really pretty much covers it up on the outside. Now, both of them do have IP certification, which is great, and both of them are on iOS 15 as well, which is pretty interesting. But there is quite a big difference between the longevity of them as well. Because the iPhone 7 Plus came out, in 2016, this phone is not going to be lasting nearly as long as the iPhone 13. It's still going to be getting support probably for a year or two, but then after that, you're pretty much done on the iPhone 7 Plus. The iPhone 13, on the other hand, it just came out, so this phone's going to be supported for a very long amount of time. I don't know how much longer, I mean probably 5-6 years, so it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So definitely when it comes down to it, the iPhone 13 is definitely going to outlast the iPhone 7 Plus without a doubt. So that covers it up there, and now let's go into a speed comparison between both these iPhones. The iPhone 7 Plus has that Apple A10 Fusion chip inside of it with 3 GB of RAM, where the iPhone 13 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 GB of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster iPhone between both of these. Okay, there we have it. Like I mentioned before, all the apps are clear in the background, so let's get into it. Let's open up phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And the 13 definitely was so much faster there. Music, 3, 2, 1. And I still think the 13 was faster, but it was kind of fast on the 7 Plus still too. Let's open up an app like Settings, which is a very, very basic application to open. 3, 2, 1. And I think the 7 Plus was actually faster there. That was kind of surprising. I was not expecting that. App Store, 3, 2, 1. A little bit of a pop-up on the iPhone 7 Plus, so we'll kind of let that one go, but we'll kind of scroll through here and see which one is faster. And they both kind of seem the same. Loading up this one, I think the 13 was slightly faster there. Hopping out of this one, let's get into something like camera, 3, 2, 1. I think the 13 probably was still a little bit faster there. Hopping out of this one, let's get into clock, 3, 2, 1. And both were pretty good there. Hopping out of this one, photos, 3, 2, 1. 13 was a faster one. Hopping out of this one, we can try getting into notes, 3, 2, 1, although I don't think, okay, so it did end up working. All right, hopping out of this one, as always, we have some of these third-party applications we can go and try to open. Let's do Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And the 13 definitely was faster here. The 7 Plus quite a bit behind. Facebook, 3, 2, 1. 13 again was the faster one. Hopping out of this one, let's get into Netflix, 3, 2, 1. And the 7 Plus again was the faster one there. Hopping out of this specific application, we can go and jump into Stack, 3, 2, 1. And the 13 was far faster there. And we do eventually get into it on the 7 Plus. Hopping out of this one, let's get into Snake versus Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And the 13 again is the faster one. 7 Plus a little bit behind, getting into some gameplay. Let's see if there's a difference. And I really don't think there's going to be a difference here. Hopping out of this one, let's go and do Thank You, 3, 2, 1. And I want you to even look at the app closing, animation. It's actually much slower on the iPhone 7 Plus as well. You can see this app, I mean, day and night difference. The 7 Plus definitely is so much slower there. Bofa, 3, 2, 1. 13 is faster. And I guess both of them got into some type of networking thing. I don't know what's going on there. Dropbox 321. 13 is faster. 7 Plus a little bit behind. Quizlet 321. 13 is faster. 7 Plus again is a little bit behind. Bull Run 321. And this is the original one as well, so there may be some issues here. And it looks like we were much faster on the iPhone 13 for sure. And the 7 Plus a little bit behind. I mean, you're going to be seeing a massive differences between these two. But I still think the 7 Plus is doing a pretty decent job, which I'm kind of surprised at. We can end it off with Snapchat 321. And again, I mean, the 13 is going to be the faster one. So when it comes down to both of these, like I mentioned, I think both of them did a great job. But I mean, it's quite obvious the 13 is so much faster. It is a much faster phone. It's so much smoother. You don't have to deal with the home button either. So I definitely do think when it comes down to it, you're getting a much faster and just better performing phone from the iPhone 13 than on the iPhone 7 Plus. Is the 7 Plus still a great phone? I think it's still a good phone, but you can see even in the animations, and you guys can see over the camera more than I even saw here, of how many stuttery frames there were and glitchiness and all that stuff. So in terms of the speed aspect, that covers it up there. Now let's go and hit on the cameras. Now on the back we have dual camera setups on both. Like I mentioned before, the iPhone 13 has a wide angle lens and an ultra wide sensor. The 7 Plus has a wide angle lens and a telephoto lens. Now both can do 4K on the back, but the iPhone 13 can do 4K at 60. The front is a pretty big difference as well. The 7 Plus can only do 1080p at 30 on the front. The 13 can do 4K at 60 on the front as well. And definitely when it comes down to it, I mean, you guys can definitely tell the 13 is, probably the smoother camera and everything like that. Now, you do have portrait mode and everything like that, but what's very similar about these phones is that they actually came out with a very big feature. The 7 Plus came with portrait mode, and the 13 now comes with cinematic mode. So this is essentially like portrait mode video, which is really cool. So these two phones kind of share a similarity there. They both brought this cool feature, at least portrait mode here on the 7 Plus and cinematic mode on the 13 series. Now with the 7 Plus, as mentioned before, I still think this is a decent camera. I don't think it's like amazing anymore, and I don't think it's like great. I think it's good enough. It definitely is very pixelated. It looks very choppy. It's not my favorite go-to camera, and I probably wouldn't recommend people to, rely on this phone, but it still gets the job done. And I think that's a pretty important thing. I don't think, if you're not looking for like, hey, this is the best camera in the world, then, I think your expectations will be met. Whereas on the iPhone 13, I mean, this is a solid phone for sure. I mean, this thing has everything going for it. It has great image processing. It has great, ultra-wide sensor capability. Like, this is a beautiful phone. I like the ultra-wide sensor more than the telephoto lens on the 7 Plus, so that's a pretty big advantage for the 13. But either or, you can't really go wrong with either phone, but the 13 by far is the better phone for sure in terms of the camera. And to be honest, the iPhone 13 is the better phone in every single category. I mean, it's not even close. The 7 Plus, I mean, there's not really an advantage of picking up this phone other than it's a really cheap phone nowadays. You can get this thing for probably like less than $200. The 13, although it costs $800, give or take a little bit, it's probably worth the money. This is a tremendous upgrade coming from the 7 Plus. To be honest, any iPhone 13, even the 13 mini, would be an upgrade from the iPhone 7 Plus. I think this one is still good. I don't think there's like crazy reason to upgrade today, but you are coming to a point where this phone is going to be outdated very, very soon. And I'm not talking like 3 years from now. I'm talking about like maybe next year. iOS 16 may not end up coming on the iPhone 7 Plus. And if you're in that boat, you may want to go and upgrade to iPhone 13, to an iPhone 13 Pro Max. And that's pretty much when it comes down to, I used to own the 7 Plus as a main phone. I mean, I still own it, but I used to use it as a main phone and I loved it. But the 13, I'm telling you guys, it's a very solid upgrade. I wouldn't recommend just like keeping this phone for like another 3 years. Like maybe you'll get that use out of it. But 13 is a very solid upgrade in my opinion. So that pretty much covers it up. If you guys want to pick up these phones like I mentioned, links are down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.